Hi, my name is Julie Riccio, and I'm an instructional coach with the special education department here on Mercer Island, with a focus on the secondary level.
And my name is Hannah Bolivar. I'm also an instructional coach here on Mercer Island. My focus is on early childhood and elementary.
We are here to work through the management of emotional meltdowns at home. We're in this with you and managing meltdowns in our own homes on literally a daily basis. Our levels of success vary every day. Across the world, parents are having to step into new roles, balancing work expectations, parenting, and teaching their school-age students. While this might bring about some tender moments, such as a hug at lunch or walking the dog together, it also brings about tension, stress, and big emotions. We definitely don't have the answers on how to manage this unusual time, because we're in it too, but we do have some research-based strategies to suggest and a lot of common experience.
Now close your eyes and think about the last time you were really angry. I'm thinking about mine, and to be honest, it was for what seems like now a very silly reason. Anyways, put yourself back in that situation and imagine someone in that moment saying to you, calm down. Okay, now how are you feeling? Have you gone from angry to full on rage? Okay, maybe that's just me, but you're definitely not feeling better now. And the reason is because words like relax and calm down invalidate your emotion. You're being told the way you're feeling right now is not okay and you need to stop. The problem, I think, is that these types of phrases are so ingrained that we say them without even thinking. And rather than helping, we actually escalate the situation. Here are some ideas of things you can say to someone instead. It's okay to feel upset. It looks like you want space. I'll be here when you need me. Let's take some breaths and sit together.
Triggers. We all have them, and they're usually pretty consistent throughout our life. So as we're getting to know our families, houses, and kids that much better right now, we're also encountering certain triggers that push us all over the edge. If we openly identify and then talk about our triggers, the family team is that much better able to address them. As parents, we're often reluctant to admit our areas of weakness to our children. But you become much more relatable if everyone is sharing what drives them crazy. As a family, try to come up with ideas to prevent these situations from happening, or an escape route if, no, when they do happen. My husband and I use a strategy of taking the dog for a walk. We can take a meeting while walking or just listen to music, but it gives the whole family a breather and acts as a bumper to prevent a meltdown. My daughter has a calm down area in her room where she goes to when she's triggered by her little brother, which happens daily.
Now let's get into some strategies you can use as soon as we're done here. Time, space, and silence. This is definitely easier for some than others. For those of us whose instinct it is to be close to our loved one who's experiencing a big negative emotion, it helps to remember that time, space, and silence are key to reducing the length of a meltdown. While there's no such thing as a silver bullet to end a meltdown, this comes pretty close. That's because everyone has a natural cycle of moving through a bad feeling. Everyone will eventually return to baseline. Time, space, and silence allow us to process our feelings and regulate our emotions. Now, this should not be confused with ignoring. Our loved ones need to know we're still emotionally present. It can be as simple as saying, I'm here for you and love you more than anything. I'm going to give you some space, but we'll be right here when you need me. The next one is the rule of 5. As parents, we often over-explain ourselves, especially when our children have done something they know they're not supposed to do. It's like we're overcome with a need to explain in great detail why what they did was wrong and what they should have done instead. Actually, now that I think about it, this is true for couples too. Here's the thing though, people can't hear us when their emotions are running high. So keep it simple. If you have to talk, use short, simple sentences. And choices. Offering choices allows the person to have some control over the situation. Remember to only offer choices you're okay with. Here are some ideas of things you might say. Do you want to do it yourself or with help? Do you want to be alone or with me? Do you want to do something different for a few minutes or try again now?
Problem solving. I am constantly surprised with the ability of children to problem solve at most ages. Similar to giving choices, inviting your child to problem solve with you can be very powerful. Even my 2.5-year-old is able to offer up a possible idea, even if it's just repeating back something I said earlier or asking to do something himself. It gives him power to come up with a solution himself. My 6-year-old demonstrates to me her knowledge of self when given the opportunity to problem solve. And most often, her solutions are fair and reasonable, which can be really surprising as a parent. With teens and preteens, inviting them to the table to talk through solutions shows that you respect their capacity to behave reasonably and use their creative thinking skills to come up with a solution. Asking your child what they think about a situation can often take the fight out of them, like air out of a balloon. We all need to feel heard and valued. Often, after these meltdowns, everyone feels exhausted. If it was you that broke down, you're embarrassed. And if it was a family member, you might still feel angry. Before trying to repair the situation, make sure that you've given enough time for everyone to come back to baseline, but soon enough that it's still relevant. Talking about what happens should be fact-based and not shaming. This could be a time to talk about any triggers that came up, or come up with a plan to handle a similar situation that will come up in the future. And make sure your kids know that you love them and that they're great people, no matter what mistakes they made. As the adult, we can model what these repair strategies look like by saying sorry if you messed up. Like the morning before Mother's Day, when I threw a massive tantrum and had to apologize to my whole family. My family is really used to seeing me apologize when I lose my cool, but it might be new for you. Though it feels uncomfortable at first, it helps you feel less guilty, and you see your family members start to do the same thing when they're upset. Okay, now pause for another minute and pick a strategy that you want to try the next time someone melts down in your home. Okay, now write it down or tell a friend to help yourself remember and to hold yourself accountable for trying one of these.
We'd love to hear from you if you experience a success or want to laugh about a failed attempt. We did that a lot while putting this presentation together.
Thank you so much for listening, and we hope to see you in real life soon. And remember, we're all in this together.